I was just listening to the new album.
What do you think?
I like it. I really like how it starts with it. It died on the vine. It's a real nice, mellow, like here it comes, and then jumping into your face with as it falls, and then like it died on the vine and hit the mattresses for me are the two standouts. I really like hit the mattresses a lot.
That came out. It's not my favorite song, but it came out the best.
Yeah.
Uh, Patrick Green, man, just hit it on the bass. Waz did all the dial-ups, and Chris over at who did the mastering on it. I mean, it just came together really well.
Yeah, it's when you've got a good team behind an album, it just like you're like, holy fuck, that was a lot easier than I thought.
It seemed to get better because it started, 10 years ago, and "Hit the Mattresses" was like the probably the third song by then. So we started getting better with the craft as it went on. And the last song, uh, Jesus, what was it? I'm drawing a blank on Stone here. Hammer to Fall.
Oh yeah,
So you can hear kind of the progression between "Died on the Vine," which was kind of like one of the first tracks. "As It Falls" definitely was one of the first tracks. "The Mattresses." I think we did under a WMW demo with 4 or 5 of those songs that are now on the album.
yeah.
But thank you, man. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for fucking having us. I've done my homework. I've watched your podcast. The
I'm
one with
sorry.
Jimmy Barrow is really fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got
Jimmy was a really cool conversation. Like, and to hear about Phil recording the vocals for the new Down stuff right before a fucking Pantera set was like, that's fucking cool.
when you think you're busy and you think about like love or hate the guy, I'm a huge, huge Philip Anselmo fan. But that man stays busy and he's sounding very good.
Yeah.
I saw him with Pantera. I saw Pantera and Metallica here in Chicago, and I'm 49 today.
Happy
So
birthday, dude. Fuck
thank
yeah.
you, thank you. When we rescheduled, I'm like, I'm not missing this. Fuck my birthday. This is a birthday gift right here.
It's a
So,
birthday gift. All
but
right.
being
Well,
at being at that show it was, man, the guy can still do things that I'm not going to say his age. Guys wish. I hope I can still do that in 10 years
yeah.
on that kind of level too. Oh my god.
Well, like I took my daughter to see him with Super Joint. God, it was a lot of years. I say a lot of years ago. It's probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago.
Long enough.
Yeah, and I was really surprised because I remember some of those days 20, 30 years ago where you're like, "Ooh, is he gonna sound okay tonight?"
Some of
Um,
those super joint, as much as I love those 2 albums, I think there's only two.
yeah,
A little rough.
yeah. But he was
But
sounding
he
really
went
good.
through it. He went through it. He went through it. And
Yeah,
killer band too. What a killer band! That original drummer they had in Super Joint. Holy, I don't know the gentleman's name, but just killed,
yeah,
killed. God,
yeah.
that was so punky and metal. Those 2 albums.
I know. Like, it's so, and his fucking music taste is so broad,
Yes.
and he doesn't honestly like what I hear. I've not talked to him or anything, but what I hear is he doesn't listen to mainstream shit. He wants to find the most deep down dirty thing he can find and get off on it. Like Mike DeLeon was talking about they went on a trip from where were they going? Like Austin to Houston or Louisiana to Houston or something. And or maybe they were going Houston to Dallas.
Okay.
And it's just him and Phil on the bus. And he's like, and Phil breaks out this thrash that no one in the world has ever fucking heard. They've probably put out, like sold like 50 tapes or something, and and Phil's got one and he fucking puts it on and they're having a mosh pit in the bus. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're gonna break his neck again. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't cause a liability.
No, not at all. All right. Jason, I,
There he is.
Hello, hello. I don't
what's
see
up?
myself, so I hope you guys see me.
We
Oh yeah,
can
you're
see you.
scary.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I like the T-shirt.
Uh-oh.
I want one.
Seemed appropriate.
Yes. Waz is here too.
This is the first time all of us have been together uh virtually. We've done it obviously in person, but I don't think we've ever done it virtually. And I haven't seen Jason in what, 2 years now?
Yeah, a long time. Yep.
2 years.
Shit.
Wise man. I just saw him over the summer. Saw Pantera and Metallica.
My fucking cat's gonna start biting me. This is Sophia. Hello, everyone.
And that's why I came down to my basement. My cat won't come down here.
This is the only like she hangs out down here. We've got 3 pit bulls upstairs, and she gets tired of kicking their ass, so she comes down here and chills out. And anytime I fucking do this, she's like, "I'm gonna hang out with you." And probably the last 2 weeks, she started biting me and shit. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, I give you really good food right before I do this, so you can like,
Well, it's
Give-
one or two things.
Yeah.
Either the podcasts are so awesome that she can't help herself,
yeah,
or they're just the opposite, and they're like, "Okay, cut.
yeah. She's like, "Get
This band's not that interesting."
get that fuck out of here."
No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I've
bullshit.
seen most of your podcasts. All the bands have been very interesting.
Yeah, they're really a lot of fun. I like doing it because I like chatting with you guys. I appreciate that. Checking out the podcast. Uh,
100%.
without bands, obviously I wouldn't be doing this because I'm a terrible fucking musician. But man, I'll shoot the shit with anyone.
See, and we can't. Us three wouldn't want to do a podcast.
Right
So
on.
we need people like you to spread the word for
Hell yeah.
nobody's like us.
All right, so I've got a question. The big question in my mind is, how do you pronounce the band name?
It's pronounced Cokus. It's a
Oh, okay.
Turkish word that means decline or downfall.
I was gonna say caucus, but everyone's got one.
That's one of the varieties we've heard. Cokus, caucus, Coke US, I've heard.
Okay.
We put the word big in front of caucus.
Yes.
And it's big caucus.
So where did the band name come from? What was like, hey, let's do that?
Should we tell them the real story?
Yeah, we have to. That's what makes it so much cooler than, oh, we were in Earthen Grave and it broke up. So, oh my God, this word means perfect for us. For the decline of Earthen Grave. But wow, you can dial it up and tell
it was kind of a mistake. Mark was giving names to everybody in the band one day. I believe Jason was Jesus and I was Moses. And I think Mark was Cokus, and I'm like, that's not a real word, but I'll look it up anyway. And sure enough, Google search turned up this perfect word for a heavy metal band name, and here we are.
Hell yeah. There's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh my God, these guys are big coke heads. It's fucking Cokus.
And you heard it here first.
Yes.
I say no to drugs.
Yeah. Bring the grams. I mean, don't bring the grams. That's funny shit. So tell me the writing process between it's been a long fucking day behind your latest album, which God, it's only been out what, like 2 weeks, a week?
3 weeks.
Couple weeks, yeah. The 13th it came
Dropped
out.
on the 13th, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, about 3 weeks, but yeah, it's got a pretty long story behind it. It started actually as right about the time that Earthen Grave wrapped up. I moved to Florida Jason moved to Texas. And I didn't last in Florida too long and actually wound up in California. And Jason just started sending me some song ideas that he had been working on. And I had not really done too much like home production before, recording outside of like a Tascam 4-track, when I was younger, in the 90s or something like that.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, right. But the technology was starting to become a little bit more available about 10 years ago. So I downloaded a program called Reaper and set up some cheap microphones on my drums, and he would send me some guitar ideas and I would just put some drums to it, and started taking off a little bit. So we started looking into who we could recruit for this thing, whatever it was going to become. And we gave Mark a call and he was on board like immediately. And yeah, the rest is kind of history, I guess.
History, as they say.
Yeah. I guess that there was the whole like 8 years of like writing the rest of the material and putting it together and getting it all, packaged up and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first two
that
was
you know,
more interesting.
I feel like the writing part of it, I sometimes can take long, but it feels like it goes a lot faster than the whole like pre-production with like the artwork and getting the layout and getting it to to press and all that shit. You're like, this is like watching fucking paint dry, dude. Come
Yes.
on.
Yes. And honestly, I mean, those are that kind of thing was probably the least of our problems. I mean, the biggest issue is probably the distance. I mean, you hear about this all the time now, especially since the pandemic, and people are doing remote working and doing meetings like we're having right now on Zoom and stuff like that. Um, but at the time, being a long distance band, especially one where none of us is like independently wealthy or anything like that, we can't just jump on our private jet and go see each other or whatever.
Well, fuck,
So
I'm out of here if you're not wealthy.
do we put that in our bio? That's definitely not true if it is. But yeah, so I mean, that there were definitely challenges to us being able to work on material collaboratively. We would get together on phone calls and stuff like that, but it's obviously not as easy as being in the same city, let alone room, as the rest of your bandmates.
Yeah, you're not getting that instant feedback when you play something. It's like, fuck, I'm gonna send this out. I gotta wait for them to listen. Um, yeah, that's
And they're going to try to communicate that to you over text message, and maybe we pick up the phone. So yeah, it's
Or you got a musician, the singer, who doesn't really play guitar much and knows a little bit about it, knows a little bit about drums, and they go, "Okay, guys, I've heard the song," and now try to explain, not even know what tuning it's in yet, or so these guys were very, very patient with me because I had never done anything like this. I was always a band guy, show up to practice, record cheaply, bring it home, do your homework, come back, rehearse some more, play a show, and then, oh my God, it's there.
Yeah.
Where this is, here's some drums and guitar, and sing over it. Tell us what we're doing.
yeah,
Really?
it's a totally different feel. I mean, there's tons of bands doing that now, but I mean, even just 5-6 years ago, it was not nearly as common as it is now.
Right.
No, it's a lot more common now, especially like post pandemic. Like I think 2020 really showed a lot of people like, oh, I can create a lot fucking more, and I don't have to be in the same room. We don't have to necessarily go and tour. We just create and put out a lot of shit. So I feel like we've seen an increase in bands that are just like, I don't even want to play out. We're just gonna just put out, fucking album after album after album. And some of those bands are, on a they put out some really quality work. So how did you feel like the production aspect went for you, like at home?
Well, obviously, it took a little while, but I would say for me, I actually really enjoyed this. I mean, like I said, before 10 years ago, it was a Tascam 4-track. now you can download Reaper, and all the other platforms are like super inexpensive. You can Pro Tool, certain versions of Pro Tools are relatively affordable now. But being able to not only be able to access that stuff myself and use it, but kind of get to do a little bit of production and engineering and stuff like that. I love that stuff. So it was actually kind of cool for me.
Hell yeah. So you got to deep dive into it and really figure out like, oh, if I do this, it'll make this wild ass sound.
Yeah. Jason did quite a bit of that too. I mean, it really did start with him. He's a home studio guy too.
Yeah,
All
I've
right.
been doing remote stuff for about 20 years. In 2004, I started the Living Fields. That was with a guy from New Zealand. He was in London for a while. Now he's back in New Zealand. Our drummer's in Ontario. Before that, he was in Tennessee. So working remotely, I'd been doing it for a long time, so I kind of had a process down. And I'm all kitted out here at the house for doing stuff. But it doesn't compare to being in a room or being in a studio. Like, if it's always like the last choice to do it,
Yeah.
the way we're doing it. It's just circumstances kind of force us to do it this way.
But the energy is so different when everyone can get together and you really try to capture that energy. And when everyone's apart in different rooms or different states, it's really hard to get that to translate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice. Go ahead.
You might have been about to say the same thing I was, but at one point we did start getting together in person. It wasn't right away, but 2015, I think maybe somewhere around there. We started getting together in
19
Chicago,
and 20.
and not just playing through the stuff we had written, but also just jamming. Jason brought a bunch of riffs, on those occasions, and those turned into several songs that are on the album right now.
Yeah. As It Falls was just us screwing around in Mike's garage or Mick's garage.
Yeah, that Midnight Sun came out, that riff, and
Yep.
so did the slow
Wolf
song.
Moon.
And the other God,
Never
Wolf
Gone.
Moon.
Wolf Moon? Never Gone.
Oh, that one too. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, because that's when I said, "Hey, Watts, can you hit the bass drum bit like this?"
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
The Bonham rabbit foot.
I
thing.
wrote that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the rabbit foot. I forgot about that.
He's like, I can't
Rabbit foot
fucking
in
play
there.
it, but I wrote that shit. Like that was mine.
I wrote that little part.
Drum credits, Mark Weiner.
Hell
Just
yeah.
on that
That's that
bass
song.
lick, let's not get crazy.
Just this little piece right here. That's it. Everything else was Waz. He's got that shit.
99.9% was.
We should have put that in the liner notes. Oh well, too late.
Well, you'll
I
know. You'll know for the next album.
Well, when we renegotiate the contract, I'll write it in there.
Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna
Ooh,
divvy up our percentages. Yeah.
yeah. What are you guys gonna do with all those millions?
Oh yeah, all those pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it's not always the most profitable business, but you learn how to use the little bit of funds you do make, off of sales and stuff like that. I mean, that's actually the business side's probably not what everybody wants to hear about, but that's something that we've been working on right now.
I think a lot of bands, or most people don't get into music because they're like, oh, I want to be, big, rich, famous fucking rock star. They're like, I need, to play music of some sort. And then, the business side starts to really open their eyes like, this better be a fucking passion project because there ain't no way,
Yeah, it's not all fun and games. Yeah, no, there's definitely a business aspect to this stuff, and that's even more true today. I mean, you really got to you have a lot more bands out there, a lot more people making music, playing instruments, and like we were just talking about, so easy to make stuff now. So there's a lot of competition out there, and there's much smaller margins to be explored, and it's there's a big side to a big business side to music for sure.
Yeah. It really is. And it, if it's done right, in my mind, right, independent bands will make a lot more money than like a signed band
They can.
selling a tenth of the fucking records. You know what I mean? Um, something that I found really cool. Mark, you were commenting on the Jimmy Bauer interview, is talking to Jimmy and Gary Mader. You learn that EHG, they record all of their shit and they own all of their stuff and they just license it to labels. So they still own all all the production, all the masters,
They own everything. They own
Yeah.
everything.
Yep,
They owe nothing.
correct.
And that's what I like about our situation on Qumran. It's a small label, it's friends, and it's a very simple arrangement that we have with them. So, not everybody has that luxury. Unfortunately, it's one of those situations where it was who we knew,
Yeah.
and that's a big part of the music business too.
And that's
But-
Lothar Keller from Legion of Doom.
Right.
Okay. Another great fucking band.
100%.
The Cap's not pulling out. He's not putting out bullshit. So I think
Right.
Ron Holzer got it dialed up.
Yeah, I just talked to Ron a couple of weeks ago.
Nice. Was he in
Yeah.
Portugal or somewhere in Europe?
No, he had just got back from Portugal. I think when I chatted with him, he was at home just kind of hanging out.
Yeah. I saw some pretty cool pictures when he was over there, some skull castles and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was like, I was just in Portugal and it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I hear this fucking guitar on my balcony it's
Nice.
fucking miles away. Yeah. He was like, there's fucking Matt Pike with, his
Nice.
fucking guitar. He's like, it was so fucking loud.
I just talked to Holzer the other day, and he was telling me about that. We're huge fans of Matt Pike.
Yeah. He's got a lot of fans. Like they just played here, probably three or 4 weeks ago and went and fucking hung out, with the band. And, dude, it's like, I swear to God, they are right now. I think they are the loudest fucking band out there.
Yes. And it shines
Definitely
through.
one of the most powerful.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
They're gonna be playing a roller rink here in Seattle in a couple weeks. I'm
God,
pretty
that
stoked
floor's
on
gonna
that.
be shaking.
Dude,
We're gonna have
It's
to
not-
replace the floor when they're done.
yeah, I was gonna say it's not gonna be a roller rink anymore. It's gonna be a fucking jump around
I
thing.
mean, it'll be a demo rink.
Yeah. But and Cody Willis, dude, who's playing drums for them, is so fucking powerful.
Oh, I'm a drummer singer. Waz knows this, and I'm late. I was always stay high on fire fan, and I'm drawn by the drummers.
Yeah.
And that guy does. I was like, just always a fan, but really dove into YouTube videos. God, is this guy amazing? And I'm like, there's nobody that can replace this guy. And here comes Big Business drummer, and just text Waz last night, I think it was. I'm like, I knew this guy was good. This guy's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to have that transition to lose does and get that gentleman, holy fuck. No flies on that guy.
Dude, Cody is all fucking business, dude.
What
Like
a beast.
I watched him side stage in Detroit and I'm watching him fucking play. And I swear to
Oh,
God,
those drums are rocking.
dude, I would not want to be a fucking drum under those sticks.
I don't
at
know
all.
how he has arms after a show.
No,
Heavy hitter, man.
he's a fucking beast for sure.
He is
Yeah.
cutting the skins, man. Fucking A.
Yeah. So let's start with Jason because Jason has been the most quiet so far.
Because we told him to.
Jason, shut the fuck up. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
He was even on mute.
Yeah, right.
Sorry,
Oh.
Jason. I was busting your balls.
Jason, for you, like who inspired you to start playing music?
Let's see. The honest answer, When I was
You-
15, I got
You can make something up if you want. I don't
no,
really give
no.
a
When I
shit.
was 15, I got Dr. Feelgood, and that was like my entrance into holy shit, rock and roll is the best thing in the world. And then pretty quickly got, you know, And Justice for All, and then some Anthrax and some Megadeth, and into death metal and Trouble and Doom, and it just kind of exploded from there. As far as like for this band, what we were kind of going for was um, some good old Sabbathy doom, some heavy riffs, but also some of that sort of Seattle accessible rock and roll kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
sort of pull all these things together and try and do something that was in line with what Earth and Grave had been, which was much more like uh, straight ahead doom in the Candlemassy Solitude Eternus kind of way, and bring it up to something a little more accessible, maybe a little more rock and roll, a little looser, a little more like concise songwriting, as
Yeah.
opposed to just like playing a riff for 8 minutes. Like it's like try make a song, like a real song, and that was kind of where we started with this one.
That's fucking cool. You know, I like, obviously I like Doom, and I like more accessible. Well, the thing that I say I like more accessible Doom, but the thing I really notice with Doom is it's just good rock and roll slowed down, you know?
If it's done right, yeah, and some of it I could get a little bored fast, could get a little lethargic, and kind of
Yeah.
sound the same. Put two bands on, and you're like, man, this fucking riff is killer, but fuck, give me another part. Where's the guitar solo?
Give me a drummer that's gonna beat my fucking head
Yeah,
in, you know?
I would text Waz and be like, dude, if Dez was on it, no disrespect towards any bands and musicians I name, they're good, they're great. If Dez was an electric wizard,
Wow, can you imagine?
you imagine like they're so heavy, but if you get this drummer that goes over the beat and over the bar and odd polyrhythmic patterns and odd time signatures over the slab of fucking heaviness, there's so much space in that stuff that if you got a drummer like we're fortunate to have, they're gonna fucking dance all over it and fit it in and have it still be heavy and tasty, but with some movement.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Mark's all about the drummer filling up the spaces, and every band he's ever been in, including the ones that I've played drums for, you know, that was a requirement. So hopefully I've been able to deliver.
Well, I mean, you're still playing with them, so I think so.
And this is band number 3 that we've been in together now.
We go back since '96.
Right.
Those were the days.
For sure. 30 years ago, hard to believe.
Yeah. Holy shit. You know, and it's so funny, like when we talk about home recording like 30 years ago, I was the guy that had that, you know, I had a 4-track cassette like Tascam, and you're like, I can get more tracks. I just have to record on these 3 and bounce them to track 4, come back, and I could get fucking 2 here. And if, you know, while I'm bouncing, if I can play it right, like I can have 4 tracks on that 4th track. It's gonna be fucking dope. You
Oh
know?
yeah,
That's high-tech stuff right there.
So good.
Yeah. That's high-tech stuff right there.
You had to be fucking precise with it, because if you fucked up, you're like, damn it, I got to start the whole process all
That was
over
me.
again. Oh, me too. Hundreds of times, I'm sure. Like,
Yep.
motherfucker.
I used one of those as recently as 2007 for a little black metal side project that I was working on with somebody that Mark and I both know, and we used it just to get that cult sound, you know, and yeah, it was effective.
Hell
Really?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like black metal. What is it known for? It's known for the shittiest fucking recording out of like all metal. You know?
Exactly. No frequencies below, you know, like 500 hertz, you know, it just all wasps
So-
and bees.
So, Mark, what about you? What got you like really into wanting to be a vocalist?
Well, I was really fortunate. I come from a family of musicians, always around it. I think it was probably by junior year. I'm like, okay, I was playing football and doing street shit, growing up in the city, south side of Chicago, Bridgeport guy. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go to college and be a football player. I'm just not in the cards. And I told myself if I could, and I tinkered around with drums, bass, guitar back then, and just never put enough focus on it. But I remember an oldest cousin, Ron Derby, heard me singing in the shower, and he said, "If you ever want to take singing seriously, you should." And my brother Ron, all the bands and all the girls, so the best weed from Bridgeport. Like, here's this kid singing in bands, just play drums, could play Judas Priest and fucking sing Judas Priest at the same time. At least I thought it sounded good. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lock myself in my room like any other kid does with a good instrument, listen to albums and work.
Yeah.
So I go ahead and pick, well, I want to sound like Chris Cornell. And people are like, are you fucking nuts? Do you hear this guy? I'm like, yeah, I know, but that's who I gravitated towards. I mean, obviously, huge Ozzy fan, and Gilliam, Deep Purple, and Robert Plant, Ronnie James Dio, some of the best classic guys, and just kind of worked on the craft. Stone Ages, I thought I could do it. So being around the family definitely influenced. Mr. Weiner was a professional singer, my father. And so I guess it was just kind of in the genes too. So I got really lucky with that. And then surrounded myself, fortunate enough that my other brother Mick Hernandez and Larry Derby, or Hernandez, these guys know really, really good musicians to this day. So I was really fortunate to be surrounded by talent and having a little bit of talent. And then just getting into my first band at 18, and now today I'm 49 and still in a band.
Fuck. Do you feel 49?
Oh, no, but I definitely have lived a lot of life to feel older than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Raising two kids on your own that are now almost 21 and 18. That's what took a lot of time after Earthen Grave. Those 10 years was really dialing in on the family and doing music when I could. And now I can do a lot of music. I don't have to do so much family stuff. Now they're older. It's easier.
Yeah.
And making more money helps too.
That's the important thing with music is like, you don't get into it so you can make a bunch of money.
No, I'm
You
looking
get
to
into it so you
invest.
can spend a bunch of money.
I'm looking to invest in it, and if you throw, I'm the kind of guy. If I throw 100 in and I got $20 back, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying, I'm not trying to say I want to give away 80%, but I'd like to start making at least 20% of it back and work my way up.
He's like, as long as I don't lose everything, it's better than a casino.
Yeah, no, because we're not making this to make any money. We just want to make a quality album. We want to tell people about it. We want to talk to killer people like you, talking about it, spark an interest. Hopefully they hit the band camps and the Instagrams and the Facebook and all that Qumran Records website and go, wow, we should check these guys out.
Hell yeah.
Besides musically, they're interesting guys.
Yeah, they're funny as shit. Even if they do a lot of coke. I don't know.
Those guys are usually pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, they fucking talk a lot though. Like,
they probably got money too.
No, I don't think they do because it's all going up their nose. Someone sneezes, they're like, shit, you just wasted $100. What the fuck, dude? Like, that was always my favorite joke. We'd just be standing around and someone to sneeze. I'm like, oh, that's $50 out the fucking window. Like,
yeah,
like
I would have to tell I'd have to tell them, don't sneeze in front of me.
Right. I don't want to have to dry that shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. So Waz, what about you? What got you into like playing music?
Oh man, there was always a lot of music on in my house. Nobody in my family were musicians, but I grew up on a lot of classic rock. I was obsessed with my old man's stereo system and his turntable and his record collection. That's some of my earliest memories is that stuff. I was always banging on stuff. I had toy drum sets when I was like, 6 or 7 years old. But my mom really wanted me to play piano, so we started with that, and I did it begrudgingly from like 5 through 10 or something like that. And after years of saying I don't want to do this, I want to do that, finally got my first drum set when I was 12, and just played with the neighbor kids or friends from school and stuff like that until got a little bit older, a little bit better. Started meeting other like-minded people like Mark, and a whole bunch after that, and started joining bands, and just keep taking one step after another, and as long as you're into it and you love what you're doing, you'll find the right people and you'll find the right opportunities. And I've been really fortunate to have been able to play in a lot of cool bands, including this one.
Yeah, I think that's you people, like-minded people tend to gravitate together, so when you have that common interest, whether it be music or cooking or whatever, you find those fucking people. And like my favorite thing, dude, is waking up in the morning and having a text like, hey, check this fucking band out, they're so good. Or doing that to other people, like messaging them or fucking texting them like, dude, you got to check this band out, they're so fucking good. Like, life doesn't get any better than that, where people like, dude, this is fucking awesome. And it's people that you trust their taste in music. They're like, shit, you'll really like this. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about music and metal is the community. And there is definitely like magnetic attractions there, unseen forces and stuff. I mean, move 2,000 miles away, Jason's 1,000 miles away or something like that, but we keep coming back together to do cool stuff. I think
Yeah,
there's something to that.
that's
And
always cool as
I
fuck.
think what helps is I know at least for us three, the core of it is that there's just a mad admiration for what we bring to the table. To that, why would I want to? I don't want to be in any other bands. I know these gentlemen do other things, but I got wise. I'm good. The bus stops here.
You got your
I
fucking
got
drummer.
Jason, phenomenal songwriter. Like the bus stops here for me. These are my two fucking aces, and yeah, unless someone's paying me, nah.
Watch out. Be careful what you ask for.
Well, if it's gonna help focus, sure.
Hell yeah. So with An Hour of Lies, what kind of physical copies are you guys putting out there into the world?
For the moment, we got CDs out there. And then of course all the digital stuff, we're on all the streaming platforms. Got our distribution set up through Qumran, so you should be able to find it everywhere. So far we haven't been able to find a place where you can't. But there could be cassettes and vinyl in the works here in the near future. Let's see how the CDs do, and maybe we'll put some other goodies out there here pretty soon.
I'm a
We only
big fucking
ordered
vinyl guy.
We only ordered so many physical CDs, sold half of them already. So that's, or they've been shipped. I don't know if they're necessarily sold, but we don't. It's better to be somewhere else than in my hands.
That's the fucking truth.
Kind of
So
guy I am.
they're
I'll start giving
sold.
them away.
They're sold. Someone bought them. You got rid of them.
I shipped 50 of them last Friday.
Hell yeah.
If distribution's coming back for seconds, that's usually a pretty good sign.
That's
Correct.
It's
yeah.
when you send them the first and you don't hear from them for 3 or 4 years that you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
be hearing from them again pretty soon.
Yeah,
That's-
they got it. They got them in like not even 2 weeks. They're like, you guys need to order more. I'm like, no, we got 75 in my house. How many do you want? 50. I'm like, done.
All right.
Here. $20 later. There you go. UPS.
Wow, that's not bad. Like fucking shipping those records, dude. That shit is expensive.
It was
Yeah.
like $20 to ship the CDs. Again, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's
vinyl.
not bad. So how in detail is like the CD booklet?
would we do a 4-panel insert, as I recall? Yeah. So, I mean, there's a decent little bit in there. Got all Mark's lyrics in there. A little bit of background, and I think there's at least one photo of us.
Yes.
Take it or leave it. But yeah. So it's not super deluxe packaging, but it's good stuff.
How about this? You send us your address and I'll send you one tomorrow.
You guys got a Bandcamp?
Yes.
I do.
I'll just order one off Bandcamp.
And I'll make sure I send it to you.
Yeah. I'm not that guy that's like, send me free shit. No. I
Oh,
like the
no.
band. I will fucking support it
I appreciate
100%.
that. But I'm also the same guy that appreciates a guy like you, so you're a guy worth giving the CD to.
Well, I appreciate that. Fuck yeah. All right, Kat. He's like, I'm here again, please. Like, I wish you could see this. She's a fucking asshole right now.
Maybe she's got a question.
I know what's your question? She wants to know if you guys will fucking come to Louisville and pet her.
Yes.
Wow. Only if we could play a show.
There
They
you
said
go.
yes if they can play a show. She was like, fuck yeah, that's good shit.
It's a deal.
My little demon kitty.
I started feeding my cat those like treats that come in the tubes, like they're like gravy treats or something like
Yeah.
that. Ever since I started doing that, my cat's been acting exactly how your cat's acting right now. There's like crack in those things or something.
Yes, something. Like I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's this one wet food that we give her. Like she eats it and she comes directly back like, okay, I'm ready for more, you fucking asshole. And I'm like, I just gave it to you. What are we doing here?
They call them aromatics. I don't know what that really means, but
Yeah. Like my
cat's
fart's
cool.
aromatic. Okay. Guys, I don't mean to cut this short. I've got another interview coming up and a couple of things that I need to do real quick. So I
Beautiful.
greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me and chat. I look forward to hearing everything that comes from you guys.
Thanks
Hope
for
to do this
having us. It's been a blast.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much.
We'll do it anytime. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. See you guys.
Cheers,
Bye.
brother.